Our pleasure.
So they're one big happy family, or half of a big happy family on that ship. What's gonna happen in that cauldron where you've got Hook and Rumpel and Regina and all those guys? What can you
Well, you've got a boatload of leaders who all want to be in charge, and so for us, the first episode is that very question, which is what happens when they face their first obstacle. At the end of the season, it was like, all right, well, they took Henry, we have to go. But when they face that first obstacle, what happens? And how do they all relate to it? And for us, what we're excited about was, really having this mission bring back the characters for who they were, in a sense, so that Snow White needs to return to Snow White. She needs to find that hope and find that light. And Rumpelstiltskin realizes he needs to make the right choice, but to do that, he has to become the Dark One. So every character is going to be, Prince Charming is going to be the prince, the noble knight that leads us into war. And Emma has to realize that this is her, the show started with her saying to Henry, I don't have a kid. And now she's a mother on her way to go find him.
If season 1, the characters were two separate characters, the storyboard characters and the fairy tale characters, and in season 2, they were this mix of we are both figuring that out. Season 3 is about the journey back to who they are, and for Emma, the journey forward.
I think
if in season 1 she didn't believe, season 2 she did believe, now what does it mean to believe and be a saint?
And I think belief, as we know, is a large part. You need to believe in fairies to see Tinkerbell, and Neverland runs on belief, and it's also, you'll see a place that makes you kind of confront who you were, because you never get to grow old.
True. Now that a lot of the characters have gone off to Neverland and we still have characters back in Storybrooke, are you guys going to jump back and forth between them or focus?
We're going to focus, the first part of the season is very heavily focused on Neverland and the ship, and we will be flashing back to characters' lives, but we're not going to see Storybrooke for the first few. But we are eventually going to see it and see how it ties in and what happens to everyone who was left behind.
So, knowing that you were going to be in Neverland, how did you decide to make Peter Pan like an evil character instead of a good one?
It just, for us, it was, when we did Captain Hook, we knew that we wanted to put our own spin on it, and that we knew that we were going to make Bobby the crocodile, and that their fight was over a woman, and that's how he lost his hand. We're always trying to put a spin on it. For us, Peter Pan has been done so beautifully so many times. We thought, well, what was the one spin? And here is a kid who refuses to grow up, who refuses to take on the responsibilities of life, and he's surrounded by the Lost Boys. For us, it just felt like maybe that was a scary place. Maybe that wasn't the most welcoming of places.
So last year, the guys, now their names are escaping me. The really evil guys that came, Bellfire's fiance.
Greg and Tamara.
Greg and Tamara, thank you. I was having a senior moment. Almost dabbled into like a nanotechnology thing, with what they did with Regina, and sort of like
Well, what's interesting to us is that they were anti-magic, very fundamentalist against magic, and yet they did not realize, as we learned at the end, that they are actually working for Peter Pan. So, what was the technology? Was it technology? Was it magic? That's
did it come from Neverland, or did it come from Silicon Valley?
And what happens when you believe in something so wholly with your whole being, and then it's ripped away from you? And that's what they're going to have to face.
Maybe technology is magic.
Exactly, maybe it is. That is why we put Rumpelstiltskin on a plane. And we really wanted that because we wanted him to not only be frightened to go to a new world without magic, but he was on what I believe is one of this world's most powerful magic, which is the ability to fly. And so when you go back and you watch that scene and you see him and he gives that look, there's a part of him that's nervous to confront his son, and there's a part of him because he says, what magic is this?
It's a great moment.
Yeah, and only Robert could play it so beautifully, because the magic of Robert Carlyle is you don't have to write words for him. He will just play it on his face.
Absolutely.
Much better, and then we will take credit here today. Of course. That's what we said.
So there's a moment in the finale at the very beginning, speaking of Rumpel and Robert Carlyle,
Yeah.
where he's thinking of killing off Henry,
Yeah.
which has been going on since Manhattan.
Yeah.
And would he have done it had he not been interrupted?
He was doing it, and I think the thing for him is he's a difficult man to love, and he always makes the wrong choices. Would he have gone through with it? We'll never know. But the fact that he was even there contemplating it shows, that this is a man who, what's interesting is he's on his way to save Henry because of his son, because he believes his son is dead. But we know his son is alive. So the question, really all of this became about getting his son. He basically created the monster in Regina to enact his curse because he could not enact a curse. The thing he loved most was the thing he was after. So for us, he was willing to ruin everyone's life to get to his son. So there is the horror of that, but then there's the beauty of a man who just wants to reconnect with his child.
Right.
And that's his character. He's always bouncing between that. And that's for us as writers the most fun.
And he's got that great hero moment at the end of
Yes.
the episode too, with the girl and everything,
His story in the premiere is one of our favorites.
So, can you tease it a little bit?
I can say that he is on a very, very dark mission. He is committed to going to fulfill the prophecy and let himself die to save Henry. And we are going to see a whole new Mr. Gold.
Wow. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you, of course. Nice to